Welcome back to Nifty Network. Today I have a 350Z axle, and you can see it has seen better days. So I'm going to show you how to disassemble this and how to rebuild this, and basically get your car back on the road and not slinging grease everywhere anymore or creaking around. So we're going to get right into here, and this is a messy job. Get ready to use all the shop rags that you have, and yeah. So first off, luckily there's not a ton of grease on this side. So we're just going to pull down on here. Might need a little convincing. Pop that loose. Then we're going to put this in the vise actually. We're going to grab our C-clip spreaders right here. And last time I did this, I shot the C-clip. It went flying, so. Okay, so once the C-clip is out, we can basically take this whole piece and just pull this straight off of there. And let this fall apart right here. Come on. Trying to get the balls out of the carrier. Alright. So we'll pull apart the lower section before we start cleaning. Alright, we'll spin this so that the clip is up and I can hammer that open. So basically I'll get a flathead and I'll knock those loose like that. Same thing up here. Grab our cutters, cut this off here. I need to get new cutters, don't judge me. These things are definitely duller than they should be. And what I do to not fight these, this boot is already destroyed, so we're just gonna cut that the rest of the way, and not cut your finger off when you slip. Okay, that is off, and we're just gonna cut this bottom boot right here on the first rib. We know that is loose now, and we're just gonna wiggle this off. I feel like if I'm quieter, I won't get dirty, so. All right, so now that we got all the nasty old busted boots off of here, get your stack of rags and start grabbing greasy parts. We're gonna do the balls first. All right, now that you see how to dismantle the axle and you know what to do, clean everything, clean in the hub, clean in the carrier, clean in the inside part of the carrier, clean the C-clip, all the balls, clean up this part right here. And like I said, this is all pressed in. So the front part of this actually doesn't come off. So just get as much grease as you can out of there. And yeah, I'll meet you back when this is all clean. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to set this in the vise like this. I already got everything cleaned. So the housing's clean. The bearings are clean. The carrier's clean. The new C-clamp is right there. We got new outside clamps. We got new boots. When you're doing this, there are two different sizes. So the bigger one, the one that has a bigger opening, is going to go down first like this. But what I'm going to do first, actually we can slide this on. So we're just going to slide this down like so. And then I'll leave like a little opening like that. And then since these are all pressed together, you can't get every bit of grease out of there. But it's okay. So we're going to open up a packet of grease right here. and you can actually get these. We'll link down below. I'll link the like rebuild kit for these axles. So get your grease and start packing. So I'll do like one side, and I'll try to do it. It's a very messy job, so don't be scared when you start getting grease everywhere. So I'll tilt this way, and I'll try and do it to where the grease isn't blowing out the side and making a complete mess. But now we can get to the other side. I'm just gonna fill all that in there, and whatever extra we have, just push it there. We're gonna throw this away, and we're gonna grab this. We're gonna go straight with it and just walk our boot down like that. And make sure that the boot is even. You can kind of see the old line where it sat on there. So just make sure that it sits even. I'm just getting all the excess off of there. And then we're gonna slide this down just to that line. You'll see another lip right there. And the reason you want to get it to right there is so that this can still articulate like that, and it's not like overstretching the boot. So we're gonna get one of these guys. Pop this clasp loose. Rotate this way actually.
I didn't hear you, what?
So that's gonna clip in like that. And once you have that one side clipped in, they do have specific pliers to clamp these down the correct way, but if you don't get out of hand and you just give this a little squeeze. So I'll put my finger right here basically to hold that tab in. I'm just gonna squeeze this, and what this does is it tightens that clamp. So you don't like if you feel like you're gonna cut the clamp, obviously stop squeezing. And since these are angled, I'm going from each side. Okay, so once it's tight like that, we're just gonna hammer this in so that gets into it gets into that little groove deeper. And then same thing. We're gonna have a little clamp down here on the smaller side. And you want to try and get this clamp as tight as you can before you go squeezing it, because that little pinch only has so much. So make sure it's tight all the way around. Make sure that doesn't ride up on you. And we're going to check to make sure that's good. And your car's never going to be articulating this much, but it's still good to check. All right, so now that is on there, we can clamp this down. All right, and then we'll smack this like I said before. All right, then that one side is done. Then we're gonna grab our smaller boot. And the reason you want to do this is because you must put the small boot on before you start anything. So just push that down, and you can push it out of your way. Just make sure that this boot is down here, because you won't be able to do any of this unless you have this boot on here. Well, you can, but you'll still be in square one of having no boot now instead of a rip boot. So put that on there first. We got the clean housing, and we're gonna slide our housing on here like that. And then we're gonna get our carrier, and the carrier goes, I don't know how to explain this. I'm just gonna have to show you. This hole is bigger than this hole right here. And if it's sitting on your axle, you wanna make sure that the carrier, like the outside of the carrier, can slide down. That's how you know that you have it the right way. So we're going to push that back in like that. And I guess you could say it's the more flat side, if you want to be technical. But I don't know the correct verbiage, I guess. Just make sure that you have this carrier housing in the correct spot. We're going to grab all the ball bearings. We're going to set these in here. And what you do is you're going to slide this over the splines, and that's going to stop right there. And you're going to hold all the splines, or all the balls, and then it goes like that. We'll break this out of the vise, get this to a more convenient spot to see. Okay, so once you get to this point, you want to make sure that you slide that center carrier housing, the one that's like a little star kind of. You want to slide that down until it clicks, and the reason you want to do that is so that when you're moving things around, it doesn't slide off like that. So set that to a spot. I set it at an angle, so when the half shaft or whatever, hub shaft, whatever technical name you want to use, that's sitting at an angle so it doesn't want to just fall apart. So we're going to grab our C-clip tool. We're going to load these, and we slide this on here. So you can see that that is on there. Axle's not coming off anymore. But if you drop this like that, this whole center carrier thing will still come apart. So you want to make sure to still leave that at an angle. We're going to get our pack of grease here. Cut that open. We're going to give quite a fair amount in the inside, and I'll show you why. I'll save a little bit for the outside, but the reason, and this is just a little trick to get all the grease out of it. Get a big socket and just roll it forward. So we'll put just a tiny bit more in there. That is good, and then we're gonna grab a cap. I didn't clean the cap yet. Yeah, wear gloves when you're doing this. This grease gets everywhere. I probably have it on my face. You can taste it. It's everywhere. But it'll save you some money. Alright, so the cap is clean. Get a freshie on here. Just for one more once over. Make sure it's not dented or anything. And we're going to grab a rubber mallet. So we're just going to tap this back into this opening right here. Okay, so now that cap is holding the bearings in. So you can go up, you can go down, you can go up, you can go down. You know that there's a bunch of grease on the inside of this. So what we'll do is we'll loosen this vise up. And just so you can visually see it happen, put this on a flat surface, and if you press down, you'll see all the grease ooze up into that bearing. So we'll do that, and then we'll grab the remainder of our grease. We'll just squeeze that. Squeeze that in there. And since it's flat on the table, we can squish this down. Okay, and once it's like that, we can put it back in the vise. Kind of inspect it, make sure that it's all even on here. And the axle is able to articulate how it wants to. And then you know that is right where, actually we'll bring it up a little bit. And that looks like it's where it's happy. And we'll put our clamps on. And rebuilding the axle is actually the fast part. The cleaning the axle and all the old stuff in my opinion, was what takes forever. Okay, so we got that on there. Oop, maybe not. Once you get grease everywhere, all this stuff is really sticky, so, or not sticky, slippery. That's all the way out. This needs to come down a little bit because it wiggled its way. I'm actually gonna go to this front one right there. Then I'll slide it back over. It closed a little bit. It must have pressed on it a little too hard. So I'm just opening that tab up a little bit. Try this again. Good. I'm gonna squeeze this down. Smack that in. Try and straighten this up just a tiny bit. Alright, so now that that's tight, we'll squeeze that down now into that so that it can move around. We know that's going to stay. It's not going to leak any grease. We'll grab our big clamp. Get that to clip in there. All right, and there you go. That is how you rebuild an axle, our new boots and new grease on a 350Z or 370Z.